Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Apartment A3 podcast. This is your host. It's my show, Nick Huber. It's just me today. Probably going to be a little bit of a short one. I don't want to waste anybody's time. But figured I'd just say, hey, what's going on? Things are good. Things are better than bad. They're not great, but they're definitely better than bad. It's not good. Sounds like a thing. It's better than bad. It's good. I don't know. That's really unprofessional. I shouldn't have my phone in here. Y'all don't need to hear that. So summer's coming to an end already. It's already on a close. We're halfway through August. I am depressed as fuck about it. Does anybody else suffer from SAD, seasonal affective disorder? I'm self-diagnosed, but at 39 years on this planet, pretty sure that's what I have. And I'm not excited about going into that. But what I'm trying to do is not let the knowledge that that's going to happen ruin the rest of my summer. But it's not great. I'm not excited about having to deal with that. And stupidly, very, very idiotically, I Googled how many days until Christmas. It's only 133. It's 133 days, shopping days left. 133 shopping days left until Christmas 2018. 2018 doesn't sound like a real year. It sounds like a fake year. It sounds like a made-up bullshit year. 2020 sounds worse, but, let's cross our fingers and hope we get there and that the planet isn't annihilated before then. Is that dark? Is it too dark? It's definitely dark. Is it too dark? I don't think it's that dark. I don't know that it's too dark. Is it too dark? I don't know. But Christmas and annihilation in the same sentence is sentences. What is it? No, I'm not having a stroke, but I guess that's always possible. To quote Jim Kelly, eat your vegetables and take your vitamins. Or was that Mr. T? Or was it both? I don't even know. 133 shopping days left, folks. I wish I had something to sell you for your stocking stuffers and shit, but I don't. I have nothing. I have no merch yet because nobody's going to buy anything. Nobody wants anything from here yet. That's an assumption I'm making. I'm pretty confident it's accurate, but that's fine. I'm not mad at anybody about it. I don't have it to give. That's fine. But were I to offer, say, I don't know, maybe... T-shirts seem arbitrary to me. Only because I only wear just a plain black T-shirt. I have a drawer full of just plain black T-shirts. I only own a few graphic tees or tees that have anything written on them at all, and I never wear them. I own them, a few of them, maybe 4 or 5 total. I never wear them. So for me, a T-shirt with a logo on it seems arbitrary. Or just overdone. It doesn't seem to make sense to me because I don't wear it, but then maybe somebody would. I mean, if I were to make one, I'd probably have to make a better logo than the logo for the podcast itself because that's pretty fucking lame. Something else would need to be made, but I've been thinking about that. That or coffee mugs. I like coffee mugs. I collect a lot of them. I don't know about a lot of them, but I have a bunch. I have more than I need. You need one mug, right? You need one mug a day, and then you just wash it, and you have that same mug. But I have a bunch from different stuff. I have one from it's a Hot Water Music one that's really awesome that I got. That was a gift, and then I have the one. I'm sorry, I'm trying to blank here. The one from Mark Maron's podcast, the Pow, I just shit my pants, justcoffee.coop mug. That was also a gift. Same person. And then I have a cool, Mickey Mouse-ish, like Disney Father's Day dad mug. Also a gift. So I guess that I'm given a lot of mugs, and I appreciate them. I have a really nice one from Outer Banks that my daughter got me that I use pretty often. I like that. And so anyway, I was just thinking some kind of logo or design or something on some kind of paraphernalia or another, and that I could sell that and that somebody might be interested in buying it. And that would be cool. I don't know. I have a Never Too Late mug. I have the only one in existence, actually. If anyone is familiar with mine and my brother and my friend Bob and Steve-O's former band, it was Never Too Late. It was around in the late 90s, early 2000s. There is one mug in existence, and I have it. It was back when Cafe Press was a huge thing. I don't know if they're still around, but that's where we had them make it. And it's one of my favorite things in the world. So I don't use it ever because God knows I'd probably fucking break it. But I have that. And so that's what I've been thinking about as far as... Did I just say a boat? Oh, no. Oh, no. Fuck! Excuse me. I had to clear that out. That's what I've been thinking about. And I don't know. I kind of want to do some more stuff. I don't feel like I do enough around this platform. I love doing the podcast. I love talking to people. I love just putting this out every week. It's a consistency thing. It's I don't want to say it's like, I mean, I guess it kind of is like a person who, for myself, even with like working out, it's like, it's the thing you do each day, or these are the days you do it at, or this is the time you do it. And every Tuesday, I know that if I don't put this out, it's not necessarily that any of you are going to miss it, but that I'm going to be upset with myself that I didn't do it for consistency's sake, if that makes sense. And it sounds, I don't know if that sounds selfish. I guess it kind of is, but I mean, I'm all right with it because, I've gotten some good feedback from people and I greatly appreciate it. You guys have been, really supportive and I love you all. And how do I reward that? By making mugs and fucking t-shirts that nobody wants to buy. But it's a thought I've had. And, I'm working on those things ever so slowly. But yeah, summer's almost done, dude. Like August is wrapping it up. It's getting the light from the side. The end of your 15's coming up, bro. But man, and that's one of those things I've thought about like a lot recently as I'm getting older. How many summers do you have on this planet? Less than that. How many summers do you have with your kids? People usually say it's like 18. Well, my one's 19, so I have barely seen her at all this summer. She's already done with me, and that's fine. That's the way things go, man. You grow up, you do your own thing. Your parents are your parents, and you love them, but you're your own person. You're your own person because they got together, and then you're here on this planet. Now you're a person. So what do you want to do? You want to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to do all of those things, and it may not include just hanging out with your parents or spending time with them and stuff. And so I'm kind of in that middle position of my parents are still here. They're lovely people. They're wonderful. They've helped me out immensely. They've, helped with my daughter for her entire life. They're helping with my son. They help with my niece. They're incredible people. But I find myself going, I don't have the time right now to pick up this phone call or to do this thing with you because I have this other shit I'm doing because I'm a person. And then I know that they feel sad about it, that I'm, that they're not seeing me, and I feel badly. But then on the flip of that, I also try not to be too like guilt trippy or pressuring my daughter because I know that she's her own person and she has her own shit going on. I also know that she's still really young. And though while she's legally an adult, she still has to, she still has her formidable years ahead of her where she'll develop herself as a person. And then in a few years, she'll probably go, oh shit, I probably should call my dad, see if he wants to go out to dinner or something. And I'm hoping that that's going to be what happens. But I know that I have to let her be her. And sometimes while it's difficult and I miss her and I get sad about it, it's still like I have that reality in my life and I know that, and that's great. So then what I do is I just smush on my son more because I'm a giant softie and, at 6'2", 223, and it's all pudge. There's very little muscle on this Michelin man. It's just, I love just to squish him and I don't let him go. And then he gets mad at me, but he's 16 months old, so he can be mad at me and it's okay. He can't yell at me yet. He can't slam the door. He can't storm off for telling me he's going to run away yet. So I kind of feel like I don't know. I don't want to say, how do I phrase this? I didn't dodge any bullets. I just think that with the distance and time between the two, I've managed to learn a lot about the first one, how that went. And then kind of also know that, well, now the things that I miss about her being little, I can now, have with him. And in another 18 years or so, I'll be, 3/4 of the way to the grave, and then it won't matter anymore. And by that time, I'll be a grandfather for sure. I'll be a grandfather way before then, hopefully. And that's fine. Whatever happens. That's life, man. Like, you can't be mad about it. So that's where I'm at with all that shit. Oh yeah. How did that start? 133 days to Christmas. That's how all of that started, by the way. I'd like to quickly give a brief shout out and a happy birthday to my friend Steve Matucci of the XOXO Pop Band and many other cover band and or event party music extravaganzas. I don't fucking know what I just said, but I've known Steve for a long time. We used to work together at Guitar Center nearly 20 years ago. Sorry to date both of us, bro, but we used to work together a long time ago at Guitar Center, and just good dude. Phenomenal guitar player, gearhead like you would not believe. This guy knows more about gear than he's forgotten. One of those. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know, kind of shit. Dude's just great. But he's in XOXO Pop Band with my friend Jessica Schreiber. I hope to have her and some of the guys on the podcast in the near future, just to talk about the different gigs and stuff they do. But happy birthday, bro. What are you, like 150 now? I'm pretty sure you're younger than me, so you're all right. Don't worry about it. I've had a lot more time recently to binge watch different series and stuff. As I've mentioned in the past, I have been rewatching. I've been rewatching Big Time Rush on Hulu. I'm not upset about that. I don't feel bad about it at all. I think it's funny, but I don't feel bad about it. And something that doesn't bother me, but kind of irritates me a little bit, is like all the shit that I get from my friends about watching it. But the cool thing is I don't have to give a fuck that you think that it's ridiculous that I'm watching this show. Because you know what, dude? People used to watch the fucking Monkees, all right? This is barely any different than that. And it's actually pretty well written, and the songs are catchy, and it works for me, all right? I'm not worried about your opinion of me. I'm worried about my opinion of me. And when it comes to Big Time Rush, I'm cool with all of it. And did I say this last time or a couple times ago? I did actually finish watching the newest season of Glow. Holy shit. That is great. I am such a fan of Marc Maron. I'm so proud of him for how far he's come in his acting. He really is just, Sam Sylvia is Marc Maron is Sam Sylvia. Just a fucking great performance. And if you look at any of his mentions on Twitter, there's a lot of people who are in the comedy community who are friends of his who are saying, and not in that same community, who are saying the same thing. Just what a phenomenal performance he's doing. And everybody, Betty Gilpin and, why can't I think of her name? Zoya the Destroyer. Come on. She was on Community. I can see her face. I can't think of it. Shit. But you know what I'm talking about. Just overall, just a great cast. Just a really, they're doing Jenji Cohen, and I can't remember the other writer either. Just doing a phenomenal job with that show. It's really great. And I like the way that it ended. It was like that sad sort of what the hell's going on thing. Like if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, they kind of end up not being able to sell the show because the TV station that started it actually owns the copyright to them, but they can still perform live. Some strip club owner, played by Horatio Sands, I think it is, actually, of Saturday Night Live fame, says he's got a club in Vegas that they can actually perform at. And so they all, at the end of the last episode, they're all on this bus headed off to Vegas to go perform, and everyone's got their individual thing going on, and they're all, sitting pensively or whatever. And it's really well done. I'm just a really big fan. And I hope that the gap between second and third season isn't as big as the gap between first and second. That's the one thing I have to say about watching things, watching series, binging on them on whether it's Netflix or Hulu, more on Netflix, but because they just pump out so many. See the South Park episode about how they greenlight everything, but there's so much time in between that, like, you almost have to rewatch. Actually, that's what my daughter does. So with Voltron, which fucking great, by the way, and the new season just came out on the 10th. With Voltron, she actually rewatched the entire series going up to the release so that she knew exactly where she was to pick up from. Which, I mean, to be an adult, a teenager, and have the time to be able to recap everything by rewatching an entire series, that's cool, but there's just so much time in between that even if you watch the last episode, you might not necessarily be up to speed with where everything was. So that's kind of been my battle recently, but just Glow was fantastic, and Just about to get into Voltron really soon, and there's so many great comedy specials out there right now. Taylor Tomlinson, just I think it's the stand-ups, I think it's called. It's definitely on Netflix. She's got, I think it's 20. Oh, let me look it up real quick because I don't want to misspeak on this. She is I'm such a big fan of hers. Just in that, this is the first time I've ever seen her. I follow her on Instagram. Just she has a podcast too with a couple other ladies. I'm not familiar with them, but man, just destroying. Here we go. The comedy lineup. Taylor Tomlinson. It's season 1, episode 3. I think is what it is. Yeah, there we go. Check it out. She is hysterical. She's really, really funny. Like, really great. I'm very excited for that. And I also found out recently that Nick Swartzen has a new special coming out, I want to say early next year. So not that far away, believe it or not. I'm really excited for that because his last special was, God, almost 10 years. Got to be like 10 years ago almost. And it was fucking great. And anyone who knows it, if you're a fan of Nick Swartzen, you know that special was fantastic. It just was really, really well done. And I haven't seen anything from him in a while. He's been doing stuff. Again, I follow him on Instagram, and he still tours. He still does stuff, but he just hasn't been getting the traction. I'm not sure what it was that caused that, because that was a big deal. Like, that was on Comedy Central. They aired that like every night for like 3 straight months at like maybe midnight or something so they could do the swear version of it. And it was just so good. And I know that, I think he said that he and the Happy Madison guys are working on a sequel to Grandma's Boy. I liked that movie. It was good. I didn't love it, but it was good. But his character was great. And I'm excited to see what happens with that too. So it's a lot of stuff. Oh, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Bill and Ted are doing another movie. Keanu Reeves and I don't know what the hell the other guy's name is, and most people don't either, are getting together to do another movie. So I've seen. I don't know how accurate that is, but it certainly is, it's been on Facebook for sure. And I mean, cool, I guess, right? Is it? Excellent Adventure was great. Bogus Journey, it got kind of cheesy. And it's been 25 years, maybe, since the last movie came out. So I definitely feel like there's potential for it to for them to ruin it. And I've said this before, that I feel like when movie studios greenlight a reboot of a movie or a sequel years and years and years later, that what they should do is hire writing teams that write for sitcoms, because the teams that write for sitcoms have a tendency to be able to bring in the original concept. They watch through all the original material. They know what made it funny. They know what made it work, and they rewrite it based upon that. They carry over the chemistry somehow, even if it's not the same people. Like, I didn't see it. I still want to watch it, and I'm in full support of all the ladies, but I heard that the new Ghostbusters movie is just fucking atrocious. And that might have to do with the writing. It doesn't necessarily mean because it was all women or, because it was the women that they casted. I just think that here's the problem. And this is why I like things on Netflix. And this is why everybody that I hear talk about doing things for Netflix loves working for them. They give you 0 notes. They just do it. They don't give a fuck. Do it. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, no, it's yours. When you're talking about a movie studio, where they're spending tens, hundreds of millions of dollars on these movies, you got some exec at the middle, not even the top, at the middle, who has no fucking idea what is funny, what is romantic, what is cute, what is good, what's going to look good on screen, going, well, what if you did it this way? Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Why do you even have this job? How do these idiots get these fucking jobs? They're pointless. They're useless people. From what I understand over at Netflix, it's just like, you guys go ahead. And they let the project succeed or fail on its own merit. There was a series that came out. They only did 1 season, and I thought they were going to do more recently. That was on Netflix, and I'm drawing a blank of what it's called. It was supposed to be set in the 90s, and it was in a high school. I'm going to try to look it up. It was in a high school, and it was just these kids. Oh my God, what was it called? It was just these kids in this high school. Like, the 2 boys were like maybe freshmen, and the one guy fell in love with the girl, and the girl was gay, but she didn't know how to say that she was, and she had a single dad. Her dad was the principal, and there's this whole thing, and they're trying to make a movie. They only did 1 season. I was actually pretty bummed that they didn't continue the season, but or continue the series. But it was really good. I mean, and that's one of those things where it's succeeds or fails on its own. It must not have been strong enough. But some of the shit that's out there now is just so strong. I mean, and I'm not even watching the super, super popular stuff. The amount of money that Netflix is bringing in membership is in the billions. It's in the billions annually. So yeah, they have a ton of money for R&D and for that. So the South Park thing with you're greenlit. Thanks for calling Netflix. You're greenlit. Who am I speaking to? All right, fine. More content, more possibility for greater shit. I think YouTube is failing as far as everything that I hear from people. It's missing the mark on the shit that's supposed to do. I hope they don't listen to this podcast because I intend to use it at some point in the future as a platform to put out content. I don't want them to be mad at me. It's just what I've heard people say is that they're missing the mark on stuff. Their community guideline strikes against certain people for certain things. It's completely arbitrary, it seems. And the thing is that they're a private company, so they have the right to put on or restrict whoever and whatever they want. That's fine. But there seems to be a very large lack of consistency with why and how they police what they police. And, as a content creator, I can imagine, and granted, the only content I do, currently is this podcast, but as a content creator, I can imagine if you're that person going, well, is this going to get flagged for demonetization? Is this going to get pulled down? Is this going to get shut up? Are they going to shut down my channel because of something I said that they just don't happen to agree with, but it's not written anywhere in the rules, the YouTube rules that it's not okay? That's shitty. It's not just it's shitty. So I'm hoping somewhere along the line they kind of figure their shit out and fix it, because that was the initial thing. That was the platform that set the standard for most things, and they still have a lot of clout. They still have a lot of power, and I would like to be able to see them do more, do better. So, that's where I'm at with that. But, and with Facebook, I see videos on there every day. I'll scroll through the feed. I'll click on the Stephen Colbert link or the Seth Meyers or whatever, and then you continue to scroll. It's just more and more videos. If I click on a video and it's like 3 minutes long, and within the first 30 seconds to a minute there's a commercial, I'm not finishing the video. I don't care that it's 15 seconds. I don't know how many people do the same thing, if people are more like willing to watch through the ad just they can see it. It's an irritation. And I understand why you put the ads on. That's how you make the money. I get that. And at some point I'll probably have to do the same thing if I, continue to do what I'm doing. But it's irritating to watch like a 2-minute video or 3-minute or whatever the mark is. It's only a few minutes usually. And they'll throw this ad in there. And it's like, I don't know that I feel that your content is good enough to warrant my time. I mean, I'm one of 320 million people, 325 million people in this country. So what's my opinion mean? It means fucking nothing. I'm just saying because this is my podcast and I can say it. That's how I feel about it. And I feel like there's people who do the same thing. They'll go, ad, nope, fuck you. I know that when something pops up, if I can either arrow through it or move the slider across my phone to get it to end quicker, when it's initial, when it's right away, I'll do that. Because chances are I'm not looking at those ads and going, oh, let me try this product or let me try this service. Because I've probably already seen it in my feed 1,000 times just being there as an ad for itself, as sponsored content. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a dick. But I'm not, I don't have all the time in the world. Nobody else does. You only got what you have here on this planet. And, how many summers? What do you got? How many summers? What do you got? 80 at best? I mean, if that's what I've got, I'm already halfway through. So those seconds add up. David Cross had this great bit years ago on Skanks. Nope. That was David Tell, Skanks for the Memories. David Cross. Oh man, what was this? What was the special called? I can't remember. It's old. It's at least 15 years old. And he does this thing about using electric scissors and how it saves you, save yourself 1.27 seconds or whatever. And it's like an extra 3 minutes at the end of your life for using electric scissors your whole life. And then death nurturingly comes and takes you by the hand and says, all right, it's time to go. And it's like, but I used electric scissors for 40 years. And it's like, all right, well, you got like 3 minutes, do whatever you want with it. And he just stands there and he goes, like he farts and he goes, all right, I'm ready. Like, that's fucking, like, you know what I mean? That's the point. So you add up those commercials and stuff for a product or a service that I'm never going to use and stuff that I'm already probably shouldn't be wasting my time watching. I'm going to skip that. And then I skip the rest of your video. And I'm sure that at some point in the future, when I'm doing this very thing for myself, that it'll be the similar situation for anyone else who's watching my content. But it's just irritating. That's why people got so excited about DVR. I can fucking record all of my shows, watch them half an hour after I've recorded them, and just skip the bullshit. I don't care about your ad. I don't care about Publishers Clearinghouse. I don't care about the new Tide pen to go. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I just want to watch the stuff. I just want to watch the shit. I don't know. I don't think that's absurd. I don't. So, I don't know. Where was I? Happy birthday, Steve Matucci. You're a handsome motherfucker. You're kind of short. But it's all right, though. It's fine. Not everybody can be taller-ish. Plus, that dude plays guitar like a ringing a bell. God, I really didn't want to say that. I'm sorry. It was just already out my mouth. No, his dude's skills are phenomenal. So if you see him, punch him in the stomach for me. Want to grow on. Don't do that. Don't assault him. That would look bad on all of us. But just say hey. God damn it. All right. So it's going to be a short one. Like I said, I'm going to wrap this up. But trying to get some people on. I say this every time. I say, except for when I have a person on, I say this every time. I was supposed to get Tommy on again, and plans fell through. He's a really busy dude, but working on it, and just hang in there, man. Like, yeah, life gets rough. Shit happens. Things happen that are out of your control. Things happen that are within your control, but by the time you realize it's in your control, it's too late. You're fine. Everyone's good. It's a gaining perspective thing, right? And I bring this back around because I'm, anybody who knows me and even through the podcast, I'm kind of going through some personal shit right now. Just because someone else has it worse than you. I mean, there are people who in this country who have it way worse than me. There's people in this world who have it so bad, I don't know how they get up every morning. But it's got to be a balance. I feel like it has to be a balance of the two. Just because, their problems are so much worse than yours doesn't mean that your problems aren't your problems within your own reality. However, gain some perspective. You now have to pay a lot more money to support yourself on your own because you're no longer a two-income household. But you still have a house. You still have a place. So you got to hustle a little bit extra, got to pick up a few more shifts, got to sell a few more cocktails to make up the difference. We'll do it. Because you could be living in a mud hut and have a distended belly and all kinds of parasites in you and have to run 10 miles to school to get away from tigers. And that's a real thing that some people have to fucking deal with. But it doesn't mean that my problems aren't valid or my problems within my reality and or yours. So just keep your head up, man. It's really it gets better. It does. It does get better. You have to put in the work. It doesn't just get better. Sometimes it just gets better. And I am dancing all over the place here. And not intentionally, just kind of how my brain's working right now. When you're in school, and say high school, and everyone's, picking on you for whatever reason. You're fat, you're gay, you're tall, you're short, you're whatever. When you get out of high school, you're like, oh yeah, those fucking people don't matter. It gets better. That's one of those things where it just gets better because time has passed and you're now in a different place. But there's other times when it's, all right, I have to worry about paying for this now on my own, or how am I going to manage to get from A to B to B to Z, while my car is in the shop or I don't have one or whatever. Those are, clearly valid issues, valid worries and concerns, but there are options almost always, even though they might be difficult to deal with, to get around or get through. There's light at the other end of the tunnel, but you have to, I hesitate to say go toward the light because there might be somebody who's like headed toward the light and they should be headed toward the light. Yeah, no, don't walk toward the light. Come back. But you know what I'm saying. I don't know. Does that fuck me? Trying to be positive. Well, while trying not to be annoying. And I've managed to do neither of those things. So I'm going to call it a day. Everybody, thank you so much again for stopping by the podcast. I really do appreciate every one of you. Anyone who's reached out to give any feedback at all, keep it coming. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate every one of you. It's good. You know what I mean? It's good. Life's good. Life is great. Just fucking go out there and get it. You got to hustle. I need to hustle more, but I'm hustling more than I had been, so I can't go from 0 to 100 without some kind of incremental increase. At least I can't. Or else, you break apart on re-entry. I don't know. What am I talking? You know what? You guys have a great one. Been fantastic. See you next week.